doesn't feel right to be sharing bad news. It doesn't feel right, but it's at that point where we need help. I guess we're sounding the alarm.
DLCD, Department of Land Conservation and Development, has come out with a policy recommendation that if it's adopted later this year, will make it virtually impossible for agritourism to survive.
The DLCD rules will put the nails in the coffin for us.
Right. If you enjoy a U-pick, if you enjoy farm-to-table dinners, if you enjoy pumpkin patches, if your kids enjoy a hay ride or a cow train, these are the kind of things that we and other farms are going to lose. It's not what the public wants. DLCD and with 1,000 Friends of Oregon's help, they're trying to shut agritourism down.
It certainly feels like we're in the crosshairs, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, who benefits if small to medium-sized farms go under? Right? Who benefits if you can't go to U-pick or pumpkin patches or enjoy those like fall harvest activities?
Or if your school can't have a field trip and your kids can't come, pet an animal, why is that under attack? I really do believe that the more you're able to share this video or like this video or just get the word out, hopefully we'll hit the ears of people that can actually make a difference.
If you want to see small to medium-sized farms like ours stay in business, if you want to be able to keep coming to farms, we're not asking for money. We're asking for a couple minutes of your time. In our case, go to our website. From our homepage, you can find very simple contacts for
the governor,
to the governor,
yeah,
to DLCD,
your senators, legislators.
Make a simple request to support agritourism, support small to medium-sized farms, and keep them from being shut down by these policymakers.
So I'm a black farmer, and a lot of people are wondering, why are black farmers not panicking like a lot of white farmers? Well, let me explain to you the reasons why. It's because white farmers have been handed everything to them, a lot of them. Not saying all of them, but a good bit of them. And by that I mean this. MLK even pointed out, he says, farmers in the West and the Midwest who were white, they were given land, they were given money, they were given training, they were given a lot. Whereas the black farmers weren't given anything, and the largest civil rights settlement in U.S. history is Pickford v. Glickman, where you had a class action lawsuit, bunch of black farmers all joined the lawsuit, and they won a huge settlement because the USDA was shown to be racist for decades. So because black farmers haven't been given anything, we've been learning to do without, unlike your white farmers. So when things are taken away from you, all your subsidies, all your tax breaks, guess what? You panic. Whereas we've always been going through this shit. So there's problems in privilege.
MAGA voters are not able to accept the consequences of what they brought to power. But anyway, from this perspective and point of view, when you just left the white farmers live listening to them thinking the blacks would be in the fields, yeah, it's hilarious. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, as well as what would have been done different to solve this situation. And are you willing to offer help? Are you empathizing? Or are you saying, is it fair for season? Let me know in the comment section down below.
How stupid can you be? First off, we don't even like being outside.
There's stories all over the internet about farmers going bankrupt across the country. And I want you to know, I want to feel sorry for you. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to care at all. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because typically I have empathy, but I'm really, really tired of telling you farmers and you people that are in rural parts of the United States, I'm tired of telling you what your vote does to you. Yeah, I mean, you guys in the red states, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you're broke. You don't have any money. West Virginia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, you get my point. You're broke. And yet you keep voting for the Republican Party that wants nothing to do with you. And farmers, guess what? You're included. But you keep voting red, and now you want me to feel sorry for you. I'm sorry. I just can't.
When people say we could just get rid of our immigrant population and then have regular old American citizens take over these farm jobs, those people have no idea what they're talking about and have no idea how much skill this work takes. Example number one. I moved to Big Island and was like, I'm good at farming, I'm good at gardening, I can grow stuff here, it'll be great, we can grow our own food. Wrong. Failure after failure after failure. I had no idea what I was doing for this specific location, and I had to take an expensive year-long course on basically how to grow stuff here. That's why I'm so successful now. That's why I can sell vegetables now. But without that course, the Go Farm Hawaii that was done through the University of Hawaii, that wouldn't have happened. Now I'm running my own farm business, and that brings us to example number two, which is it is nearly impossible to find farm help that is at the skill and knowledge level that we need it to be to hit the ground running. And not only that, but some of these people are just impossible to teach and to train. And by that, I mean you can tell them what to do, you can show them what to do over and over again, and it just doesn't sink in. I've had so many people reach out to me proactively asking to work on my farm, asking to do work trades or work for vegetables for like a small amount of time or to work for pay. And I'll have those people up here and we'll do kind of a working interview, and I'll go over some of the rules of the plot. The number one rule up here is you don't step in the beds. This is a clay soil. It compacts super easily. You don't step in the beds. It doesn't matter if you think there's something planted there or not. You stay on the paths. If you have to move from bed to bed, you jump over the path, or you jump over the bed onto the other path, or you go around if you don't think you can step or jump over. And almost every single person who has come up here, I will tell them, number one rule, don't step in the beds. Every single person steps in the beds at least once, and I don't have them back up here because I can't afford to deal with people making those kinds of mistakes over and over again. I had another person who, she has some experience farming and gardening. She grows a lot of herbs. She wanted to come work for me in exchange for using some of my plot space to grow some of her herbs. And I was like, that's fine. That's great. I know that she knows her stuff. So I come up here with her, we're doing some work together, we're doing transplanting. She keeps transplanting things too deep. She keeps getting dirt in the crotch of the plants, which causes them to die almost immediately. And I kept telling her, hey, don't get the dirt up above the crotch. You can't have any leaves or any bases of the leaves under the soil. And no matter how many times I told her, she would just keep doing it because she thought she knew better. And I will tell you, 70% of those plants did die within the first few days. And I probably should have let this person go after that, but I gave her one more chance and I asked her to help weed the cucumber house, and she left to go take a lunch break, and she left the screen door open for 2 hours. And so now, a couple weeks later, I am dealing with an outbreak of moths in here, the pickleworm and the cucumber moth. I am having to remove whole plants that are just absolutely destroyed. I'm losing a lot of money now because she decided that it was fine to leave the screen door open, and I told her, hey, I'm gonna let you go because you left the screen door open. She's like, oh, it was only for a little while. And it's like, it doesn't matter. It takes 5 seconds of that door being open for 2 moths to get in, and those 2 moths turn into 20 moths and all your cucumbers are gone. So yeah, I guess that's my almost 4-minute long rant about why we need our migrant workers in agriculture. I do think that they should be paid more and they should have stronger worker protections, and also they need to stay because if they all leave, we will starve.
So President Sunny D promised to fix the job market by deporting 11 million undocumented workers. Like it was a new binge series, ICE, Special Victims of Common Sense. Megatron told black voters, Mexicans are taking your jobs. Like we were all gonna add day laborer to our resumes by Monday morning. But guess what? 2025 just hit a record. More farm bankruptcies in the first quarter than all of 2024 combined. Farmers are begging for help. And Commander Coppertone, he sent ICE back out, even stricter, because clearly the problem was too many workers keeping the economy alive. Turns out crops don't pick themselves, restaurants don't staff themselves, and black folks, they aren't lining up to break their backs for $10 an hour with no benefits just because Trump ran out of scapegoats. They thought they could swap immigrants for job-correless inner-city youth, you know, the same ones they underfund, over-police, and call thugs on TV. This was never about jobs. It was about villains, about vibes. Really, it was all about votes. But now, capitalism's on line one, and it wants its workers back. Now make that make sense.
We have some big news right now. The Department of Agriculture just ended a 35-year-old policy that was designed to help black farmers.
So there's basically two problems that black farmers face with getting more of us onto the land and dealing with the equity problem that these programs that have just been defunded are designed to address. One is that currently black farmers are only 2 to 4% of the farming population. The second problem is getting more farmers, getting a bigger share of black farmers is going to mean you've got to get more new farmers in, more first-generation farmers in. What the Trump administration has done by getting rid of the whole socially disadvantaged designation is to really affect that first problem. The operating loans and the equipment loans and the stuff that existing farmers really rely on in order to be able to conduct their operations, because traditional banks generally aren't going to fund something as risky as farming. There are financial programs through the USDA that are supposed to target first-generation farmers and people that aren't necessarily on the land yet, but they don't really solve the problem. If they solve the problem, then you wouldn't have issues with white farmers wondering who's going to take over the farm. Like there's a first-generation farmer problem with white people too. So these beginning programs, whether they target socially disadvantaged people or not, they're not solving the first-generation farmer problem because they're not designed to. I've been outspoken about this for a very long time, often to my detriment. I got in a lot of trouble with the whole black food justice community when I came out strongly opposed to the Justice for Black Farmers Act, because all it did was toss more would-be farmers into this meat grinder of USDA programs and this whole system of farms that sits under this layer of agribusiness that just presses them and presses them and presses them. All it did was throw black bodies into that meat grinder. And I got in a lot of trouble when I said this is a stupid idea that mostly enriches nonprofits and really nobody else. So anyway, to deal with this issue, I talked about the layers. You've got agriculture here, you've got agribusiness here, and this usually presses down on the farmers. What we need, if we're ever going to address the equity problem, the representation problem with black farmers and other farmers of color, disadvantaged farmers being able to get into agriculture, we have to start controlling the agribusiness layer. And there's almost no money coming from the government for the agribusiness layer. The agribusiness layer is everything that happens after the farm. So it's all the processing, the packing, the food safety stuff, the marketing, the distribution, the retail sales, the wholesale sale, all of that stuff. And as long as government equity programs are all about land access or operating loans or buying farm equipment and not about developing processing infrastructure or trucking or shipping or anything like that, then it was never going to solve the problem. So there's two things that have to happen at once. First, we need to elect people into office who are going to put back socially disadvantaged designations, because contrary to what the Trump administration says, what needs to be done to address inequalities has not been done. White people, especially white men, have had a 360-year head start in this race, and we've had 35 years of a minor speed boost to try to catch up. So, haven't done enough. If you wanted to catch up in 35 years to the inequality between white farmers and black farmers, you would have to give black farmers access to the same free land programs that white folks got back in the 1860s, in the early 20th century. But we're not getting that. The socially disadvantaged stuff, all that does is make sure that we're not completely excluded from competing for the same programs that white folks have always had access to. There's never been a free ride for us like white folks got. That is the foundation of all the farmland and farm wealth that they have now. So again, really important to elect people that are going to put that designation back, so at least we're not falling further behind. But the second and more important thing to do is to understand that those programs that exist now are not going to get more people like me, first generation farmers, onto the land. They're just not designed to. There's two things we have to do that are different. Number one, if we want the government involved, which maybe we do, maybe we don't, now that we see how capricious it can all be, we would need something like an SBA designation that is specific for agriculture and agribusiness, so we can use like 7A loans to build agribusinesses more easily. Or that kind of funding could come through the USDA itself and just skip the SBA. So it's targeted for agribusiness. So for people setting up meat processors or vegetable processing outfits, or attaching things like trucking and fulfillment and retail to integrated agribusinesses. But here's the thing. If you're building an integrated business like that, where you have the farming in addition to the agribusiness, you are going to be a lot more attractive to conventional capital, even mission capital that's not going to demand these extractive returns that you often see demanded from like venture capital out of tech. So here's the shameless plug. The book that I wrote, the ebook that I wrote, is all about how to build a business, an integrated agribusiness that includes both the farming and the agribusiness part, so that you can attract traditional capital, so you don't have to worry about the caprice and arbitrariness of the government and the political winds that are just like doing this. So if you seriously want to see what could be done right now about agriculture, whether you yourself want to farm or not, if you just want to be informed about what the landscape is like and what food systems of the future need to look like in order to be more equitable, not only towards like black folks and native folks, but towards the environment, towards consumers who are getting built more and more and more, no matter what friggin' color you are, read my book. It's got a lot of stuff in it you're going to want to know. Follow me for more niche farm rants.